Hi, I'm Ken Kessler, and welcome to the Sounds of Christmas podcast. If you're new to this podcast, I want to start by saying thanks for joining us. If you're not new, welcome back. Either way, I'm glad you're here. Now, to avoid any confusion, I want to start off by saying there won't be any music played here. This is a place for conversation. I'll talk about Christmas music and some related topics, sometimes by myself and sometimes with guests. If you're looking for music, just go to soundsofchristmas.com and click on the tree or the player on the front page or on the Listen Now page. We play the best variety of Christmas music all year long. Well, except in October, when we play the best variety of Halloween music. Just recently, last month or so, the Library of Congress announced 2023's additions to the National Recording Registry, and of the 25 inductees, one of them was a Christmas song. There isn't a lot of Christmas music in the National Recording Registry, and I did a podcast episode about that last year around this time, running down the other songs that were already in there. So this time around, I thought I'd just focus on the one Christmas song that has been added for 2023. All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey. I know the song has a lot of haters, and I'm pretty sure a lot of that comes from the way traditional radio has played and overplayed that song since it first came out in 1994. Still, it has a pretty impressive history, and it's hard to look at all or even some of the history of this song and come to the conclusion that it doesn't belong in the National Recording Registry. Of course it does. Now, I'm going to jump around a little bit from one year to the next, back and forth, so that I can group together particular topics in regards to this song. All I Want for Christmas Is You was sent to top 40 and adult contemporary radio stations in November of 1994, and it got immediate positive reviews from fans and critics alike. The New Yorker even said it was one of the few worthy modern additions to the holiday canon. It reached the top 10 on Billboard's Hot Adult Contemporary charts and Hot 100 Airplay chart, but it didn't appear at all on the Hot 100 since it wasn't released as a physical single, at least not in the United States. That rule went away in 1998, which allowed the song to chart on the Billboard Hot 100 for 1 week at the end of the Christmas season the following year, though it only got to number 83. The song topped the Billboard Hot Digital Song chart in December of 2005, but it was unable to attain a new peak on the Billboard Hot 100 chart because it was considered a recurrent single and was thus ineligible for chart re-entry. If you don't know, current songs are the ones that just come out and they have their initial run on the charts. A recurrent song is when that song gets played again later on, when you hear one of your favorite hit songs that was at the top of the charts last year, and then you hear it on the radio again this year. That's considered a recurrent. So every December from 2005 to 2008, the song topped the Billboard Hot 100 recurrent chart. In 2012, after the recurrent rule was revised to allow all songs in the top 50 onto the Billboard Hot 100 chart, the single re-entered the chart at number 29 and peaked at number 21 for the week ending January 5th, 2013, almost 20 years after it was released. In December 2017, All I Want for Christmas Is You reached number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100, giving Mariah Carey her 28th top 10 song in the U.S., 24 years after that song was first released. All I Want for Christmas Is You went to number 3 on the Hot 100 chart, dated January 5th, 2019, becoming the second holiday song to reach the top 5. The other one, the Chipmunk song, Christmas Don't Be Late by David Seville and the Chipmunks, which hit number 1 in 1958. All I Want for Christmas Is You returned to the number 3 spot on the Hot 100 on the chart dated December 14th, 2019, and then a week later, on the chart dated December 21st, 2019, All I Want for Christmas Is You topped the Hot 100 for the first time in the United States. Mariah's song broke the record for the longest trip to the number 1 spot, reaching number 1 25 years after its original release. It was only the second time in the over 6-decade Hot 100 history that a Christmas song hit number 1 on the main chart. The first, of course, as I previously mentioned, the Chipmunk song in 1958. All I Want for Christmas Is You hit number one again in 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023. Mariah's song has also become the first holiday ringtone to be certified double platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America. Additionally, of songs recorded before the year 2000, it is the best-selling digital single by a woman, as well as the overall best-selling holiday digital single. It became only the second song in the Billboard chart's history to reach number one in two separate chart runs, the first one being Chubby Checker's The Twist, which reached number one in September of 1960, and then again in January 1962. After it hit number one in January of 2022, All I Want for Christmas Is You became the first song to hold the top position in 4 different chart years. On December 3rd, 2021, All I Want for Christmas Is You was certified diamond by the RIAA for selling 10 million units, becoming the first holiday song to achieve this and making Mariah the second female artist in history to have both a diamond certified single and album. The other one is Taylor Swift. As of January 7th, 2023, All I Want for Christmas Is You has topped the Billboard Holiday 100 chart for a record 57 cumulative weeks. That's out of the chart's 62 total weeks since it was first launched in 2011. It has been number one for 42 consecutive weeks, dating to the start of the 2015-2016 holiday season. No other song has spent more than 2 weeks at number one on the Holiday 100 since the chart launched in 2011. On November 18th, 2021, it was ranked as the number one greatest Holiday 100 song of all time by Billboard magazine. As if all of that wasn't amazing enough, on Christmas Day 2018, the song set the single-day record for the most Spotify streams with 10.82 million plays. Ed Sheeran and Justin Bieber broke that record, and then on Christmas Day 2019, All I Want for Christmas Is You rebroke that record with 12.029 million streams in a single day. In 2022, All I Want for Christmas Is You broke for a 4th time the all-time record for the most streamed song in a single day on Spotify with 21.2 million global streams. The record previously held by Adele and her song Easy on Me. That made Mariah's song become the first song in history to be streamed over 20 million times in 24 hours. In November of 2019, the song won 3 spots in Guinness World Records for one of the best-selling and most recognizable Christmas songs, most streamed song on Spotify in 24 hours, and most weeks in the UK Singles Top 10 chart for a Christmas song. The Economist reported that Mariah makes $2.5 million a year just from this song. Now, she released a children's book based on All I Want for Christmas Is You in November of 2015, and that went on to sell over 750,000 copies. She later released an animated family film called Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You, based on the book and song, and that was in 2017. Since the song was first released, Mariah has recorded a few different versions over the years. Now, the original version came out on her first Christmas album in 1994. In 2010, she re-recorded it for her second Christmas album, calling this one the extra festive version. In 2011, she recorded a duet of the song with Justin Bieber and labeled that one the super festive version. In 2019, she released 2 more versions on the deluxe edition of her first Christmas album, including a live version and one that was labeled as Mariah's New Dance Mix Extended 2009. There was also a Magical Christmas Mix version released for Mariah Carey's Magical Christmas Special in 2020. As you probably know, Mariah isn't the only one that has recorded different versions of her original 1994 song. In fact, it has been covered about 400 times so far by a wide variety of artists. While there is video on YouTube, or at least there used to be, of Shania Twain performing a live version of the song in 1999, Irish singer Samantha Mumba is credited with the first cover of the song back in 2000. Olivia Olson sang it for the movie Love Actually a few years later, and that really got things rolling. After that, versions sprang up from My Chemical Romance, The Cheetah Girls, Pure Energy, Teddy Geiger, The Motels, House of Heroes, Bowling for Soup, The Pupini Sisters, The Newsboys, Celtic Thunder, Dave Barnes, Big Time Rush, Home Free, Michael Bublé, Vanessa Peters, the cast of Glee, Cimarelli, Anthem Lights, Idina Menzel, Fifth Harmony, Jelaine, She and Him, Straight No Chaser, The Dolly Rots, Love in the Outcome, Ingrid Michaelson, Leslie Odom Jr., PJ Morton, Michael Longoria, Mark Martell, Jamie Cullum, First to 11, Dolly Parton with Jimmy Fallon, Ryland James, Larry Stewart, Tori Kelly, Calabro, Marillion, Pentatonics with Christina Perri, J.J. Heller, Sarah Partridge, Michael Tate, Lindsey Sterling, August Burns Red, Scott Bradley, and the Piano Guys. And that's only a slight fraction of the hundreds of artists that have recorded that song. Of those, only the versions from Michael Bublé, Big Time Rush, and the cast of Glee actually made it onto the charts. All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey is now the 8th Christmas song the Library of Congress has added to the National Recording Registry. And FYI, there are 3 points of criteria for recordings to be inducted. Recordings selected for the National Recording Registry are culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant and or inform or reflect culture in the United States. No recording is eligible for inclusion in the National Recording Registry until 10 years after the recording's creation. My personal favorite of their rules, recordings will not be considered for inclusion in the National Recording Registry if no copy of the recording exists. If you'd like to make a nomination with the National Recording Registry, here's what you need to know. First, you can submit up to 50 registry nominations per year. You will need to include in your nomination as much information about the recording as possible. All nominations should include the recording artist, title, and record label name and number for published recordings, or a brief but specific description for unpublished and broadcast recordings. Nominations should include a compelling justification that explains the cultural, historical, and or aesthetic significance of the recording. You can email your nomination to recregistry, that's RECREGISTRY, at loc.gov. You can also fax it to 202-707-8464. They get lots of nominations, so they won't let you know that they received yours. But maybe you'll know next year when we're talking about the song that you nominated. Thanks so much for listening and for continuing to support the Sounds of Christmas station and podcast. I already told you how to listen to the station, and you're already listening to the podcast, so my work here is just about done. All of our episodes are available on the Sounds of Christmas website. Just click the podcast tab. We also have a Linktree page, so you can find us on your favorite streaming site. Just go to linktr.ee/SOCmusic, and you can find most, if not all, of the sites that have our podcast. Then you can subscribe, and you'll never miss another episode. If you have comments or suggestions on this episode, previous episodes, the Sounds of Christmas station, or the Sounds of Halloween, feel free to reach out to me on social media or through the website. Thanks again, and may you always believe in Santa Claus.